And Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have bought thousands of Nvidia GPUs as they develop generative AI applications. The Financial Times reports that the Saudi government, through King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, KAUST, has acquired at least 3,000 Nvidia H100 chips, each worth around $40,000. They are expected to be delivered by the end of the year. KAUST already owns at least 200 Nvidia A100s and is building the Shaheen 3 supercomputer featuring 700 Grace Hoppers for the end of the year.
There's a lot to say about this. First of all, congratulations to anyone who bought Nvidia stock on
Holy
January
smokes.
1st of this year, because it is absolutely in fuego. It is up 238.85% from 143, year to date, from 143 bucks at the start is now over $485. So if you didn't have a time machine now, then sorry, but very cool. And yeah, I mean, KAUST is getting it's already the premier university in Saudi Arabia in terms of international reputation for the highest level out of Thuwal. They just got, it was just announced that the Crown Prince is setting up a new fund for KAUST and is re-energizing the university. We were going to add it to the yellow section here, and I think what we're going to do is maybe do a one big thing on it or something in coming weeks, just because it's such a huge story. But this is an awesome story. I looked up the Grace Hoppers, which is super cool. I think it was named after Grace Hopper, who was a computer science and a mathematician, pioneered computer programming, died in the early 90s in Arlington, which is cool. Not cool, but I mean, she was local, which is interesting. But so this is a big story. It's big for Saudi Arabia. It shows their intention on investing in AI and in sort of advanced supercomputing that can potentially have its power unleashed as AI really hits its stride in the coming months and years.
Yeah, that's agreed. Now, in keeping with the AI theme, the Shaheen 3 supercomputer was mentioned in the lead in that yellow from Bard, our preferred generative AI source.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it says about the King Abdullah. So I'll just read it. The King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, KAUST, in Saudi Arabia is building a supercomputer called Shaheen 3. The supercomputer is expected to be the most powerful in the Middle East. It will be based on HPE, that's Hewlett Packard, HPE's Cray EX architecture. So the beauty of this is those are American companies that are involved in this critical, element of Saudi Arabia's efforts to build the supercomputer. So it's based on the HPE's Cray EX architecture. Shaheen 3 will be a 25 cabinet HPE Cray X4000 systems. This means something to some of our listeners. With more than 2,800 Nvidia Grace Hopper GPUs, it is expected to deliver 100 petaflops and provide a 20 times peak potential boost. It's slated to be fully operational next year. Somebody knows what I'm saying, but not me.
I think I know what you're saying. I think if that computer is like my computer, it gets really hot when it's thinking very hard. So hopefully they have a massive fan, because sometimes my computer just sounds like it turned into a huge fan. So
it is interesting. The race is on for these supercomputer chips, and I guess this recent class of generative AI models, and I expect this to only keep going up, requires a 10 to 100-fold increase in computing power to train models over the previous generation. So I mean, it's like so many things. It's a power, it's a power grab. You got to get this. So and we talked about in the one big thing about Saudi Arabia, when they decide to go in a direction, they go hard.
Mm-hmm.
So they're out there competing for this limited supply of NVIDIA H100 chips. Go America.
Sure. And, they're also bringing in the PhDs and the PhD classes to operate this machinery, because I'm sure if I had a NVIDIA GH200 Grace Hopper super chip in my room, I would put my cup of coffee on it or roll some putts into it. I don't know how to, I wouldn't know how to use it or what to do with it. And so,
The
yeah,
cats
that
could
sort of,
run all over the keyboard.
that's, so that sort of highlights, I mean, KAUST is just got a really great reputation. It's a fairly new university, but I mean, the number of patents I think I saw recently that they received last year, I think was their highest. Sorry if that is inaccurate. I'll correct that if I'm going to look into that after the show. And if that's not correct, then I'll
Well,
correct that in the thing. But I said it and now it's there.
well,
So,
yeah, you're on your own. I have no idea.
I think you said that. And yellow number 2, SRMG Ventures, the VC arm of Ryadh-based conglomerate Saudi Research and Media Group, has announced a small but significant $5 million investment in Anghami, which is the Arab world's rival to Spotify. Anghami, which was founded in 2012 in Beirut last February, became the first tech company in the MENA region to be listed on New York's NASDAQ exchange. Since its launch, Anghami, has expanded its portfolio beyond music streaming. It now provides in-house productions, branded music and video content, concerts, and live events, as well as a record label for Arab artists and podcasts. Ooh, podcasts, Richard. Maybe there's something for us, We'll see.
Yeah. Um, I don't have much to add here. I mean, Anghami is kind of cool. It's the first legal music streaming platform in the Arab world. I think so clearly, and it seems to have mostly Arab, an Arab audience. I guess the name Anghami translates to "my tunes" in Arabic.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting.
That is cool. Yeah,
It has 70 million users. Spotify has 517 million. That was neither here nor there, but it'll be interesting if Anghami, and like so many things, obviously we did a one big thing. We did a yella on you did it on Barbie. Your one big thing on Barbie, which is a good one. It's now available on YouTube on our channel. That was a good one that Lucian did, and we talked about the cinema, space, and we also talked about how Arab films are really kicking butt and finding an audience there, and that by films that are in Arabic by Arab creators. And maybe you see this sort of thing in something with Anghami too as well.
Spotify is the easiest money that I spend each month. It's so worth it. And do you remember the old system of buying CDs and downloading it? It's just such a game changer. I love it. I listen to music on it all the time. Just rules. Yeah. So cool company and cool. It's almost like this is almost like would be an interesting acquisition for Spotify because they probably don't have the penetration in the region that Anghami has. And maybe it's like an Uber Cream thing. I don't know. You heard it here first on the 966, but just interesting.
Number 3, Axiom Space has raised $350 million in a funding round led by Saudi Arabia's Aljazira capital and a Korean healthcare firm, Boryung. As the startup works with NASA to develop a private space station, Axiom said the round took its total raise so far to $505 million and made it the space startup to receive the second most funding in 2023, only behind Elon Musk's SpaceX. Axiom, which also has a $1.26 billion contract with the U.S. space agency NASA to develop spacesuits for use on the moon and other space programs, expects the first module of its private space station to launch by 2026.
Saudi investment in U.S. startups is truly accelerating now. This company, Axiom Space, which I didn't know much about, it's a Houston company, and this space station looks awesome, and construction is already underway. Axiom Space is the only company with, quote, the privilege of connecting its modules to the International Space Station. Of course, Saudi Arabia is investing in space elsewhere. It just flew an important mission alongside U.S. astronauts earlier this year. So, cool story. Don't have much to add outside of that, but I love it.
And in keeping with what we were talking about with regard to minerals and mining, but in general, they're investing in cutting edge technologies. And I agree with you. Remember, we did a yella on Ali Al-Qarni and Rayana Barnawi, who were the two mission specialists and went on the Axiom flight in May this year. And And what Axiom's trying to do, I mean, build a private space station. Wow. To launch by 2026. I mean, this is sci-fi stuff. And it's a private firm. And now Saudi Arabia is an investor, or at least Aljazira. Do you know Aljazira Capital?
Yes.
Where
Yeah.
what's their pedigree? What's their background?
I don't know, but they do like they don't they like do specific investments like this, so they're sort of a diversified fund.
Yeah. But
Um,
it's I think it's again it's a strategic, positioning investment that's pretty cool in the aerospace sector.
it is of course not affiliated with Al Jazeera news channel, which is
You're
not
right.
even Saudi, but just worth noting. Yella number 4. A falcon from a Saudi breeding facility has become the most expensive in the Middle East, fetching a record, I like that, of $134,000 at auction. The Cherug fountain, known as the Hur, was one of several to attract serious bidding at the third International Falcon Breeders Auction on Friday. The auction at the headquarters of the Saudi Falcons Club north of Riyadh has attracted participation from leading international falcon breeding farms. The auction has become a key marketplace for both local and international falcon breeding farms and offers business opportunities to professional falconers by showcasing a selection of elite breeds.
We included this just because it's cool, but also because it's in keeping with Saudi Arabia's sort of promotion of authentic and traditional aspects of its society. And I guess this churug, it's also called the Saker Saker falcon. It's apparently pretty large. It's like a second largest falcon species in the world. And so anyway, that's pretty cool. And but like with camels and coffee and dates, Saudi Arabia has been convening and building markets for all of these things. Not only to celebrate the sort of cultural aspect of it, but to monetize it.
Sorry, had it on mute there for a second. I was just looking up falcons versus hawks. I don't know much about it, but what do you do with a falcon? You just like chill with it, right? And
No, you hunt with them.
oh, okay. So,
Yeah, I mean a lot of people hunt with them.
okay. Is that a thing in the US? I mean, I've seen that in Arabia, but like,
There's absolutely an ecosystem and a community for falcon hunting in the U.S. and globally, and it's bigger in the Middle East and other areas. But yeah, there's definitely falcon hunters in the U.S.
these look like some mean birds. I would not want to be on the wrong side of an
Oh,
exchange with one of these
no.
things.
And it's also interesting too. I mean, there's a long history of illegal trading in endangered species, and falcons have been in one of this. This isn't what's happening in Saudi right now. And maybe that's one of the things they're trying to do. I mean, they're trying to regularize all this and that sort of thing. But yeah, there's a tremendous interest in falconry and a very deep community, bigger in the Middle East than it is here.
Initial Google search, you can have a pet falcon, but I think you need a permit in the US to do that, to have a peregrine falcon or any other falcon as a pet. Okay, sorry. I kind of want to get into this. I think I need a new hobby, and I think it should be falconry.
Well,
And maybe a
I
third
mean,
co-host on the
I
show.
I think I think with cats and young kids, a falcon makes a lot of sense. And
Yeah, that's a good call here at
if you see
Hawkswood.
if you see Coco flying off across that field behind your house with your pet falcon, let's just
It's
hope it's trained enough to come back.
I think that I told you this, but when we first moved to this house, we didn't know what type of wildlife would be around. It's a large property, and it's very wooded, and it's interesting because there's a lot of wildlife around here. So I was really nervous about my 3 cats getting absolutely destroyed by a falcon or a hawk or like a coyote. Like, I don't even know. But I was like, you're not going to be the alpha here. I tried to explain to them, and they're just like, yeah, no, we're cats. We got it. And, but it's just amazing how much stuff's here. And yes, just yesterday, I looked out the back door, and I saw a whole family of wild turkeys, including like 6 or 7 young, like tiny young wild turkeys going across. And I was just like, oh, okay. And about 5 feet away, I saw Barry, my cat, just, being like, I know I can't take you on, but I want to so
But I'm
badly.
stalking.
Yeah, but I'm stalking because it's what I do. Okay. Sorry.
So
It's the 100th episode. We can have some fun,
no, absolutely. But just for clarity's sake, because I grew up with cats and dogs and all sorts of animals. I'm really a dog person. But is it fair to say that every cat in the world thinks it's the alpha?
It's fair to say that definitely think that, and they're definitely not in many situations. They're small cats. So, although if you were to encounter a big cat in the wild, I feel like that you may not be the alpha in that situation.
Oh my, yeah.
So, what a nice little digression we just did there, Richard.
Did we?
I think it's you for number 5 now.
Oh, is it? All right. Back to reality. More than 7 million students in Saudi Arabia returned to school on Sunday, resuming their studies after a 2-month summer vacation. According to a report, over 6 million students enrolled in general education and 1.36 million students in higher education and technical and vocational training started the new academic year. More than 500,000 male and female teachers, as well as administrative staff and supervisors, also resumed their duties. The Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training Corporation started preparations early for the academic year in coordination with local education departments.
There's good data in here. 95 new schools and nurseries will be open this year. 63,000 teachers in Saudi Arabia to teach to this large student base. And it's cool to get a breakdown of students by area, with Riyadh having the largest number of students, obviously, followed by Jeddah. 700,000 students in Jeddah, Mecca, or the Eastern Province with 500,000, Mecca with 422,000, Medina 350,000, Asir 280,000. That's a lot.
Yeah,
it's just a cool breakdown in this article, and actually in the Yella segment, we'll put the link to this because there's some good stuff in here.
Agreed. Yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on. And we talked to, this is the reference, third or fourth reference to the short distance between the origination of policy and the implementation of policy. And I was chuckling because you got the school year starting, and all of a sudden you have this sort of flood from the General Directorate of Traffic, which is called Mirar, about fines. So like there's a $134 fine if you make noise near schools, and then specifically, driving with your car radio cranked or whatever, all the things kids do. There's a $1,600 fine if you overtake a stationary school bus. You don't honor that blinking thing. So the other thing that's interesting about this year is females are now, they've been cleared to teach co-ed classes up to 4th grade. So you can sort of see this will move up and move up and move up over time. But, in the past, as male students have gone through the system, increasingly it was with male teachers. Now they moved up to 4th grade, that a male student can have a female teacher, and, slow and steady.
Yeah, well, if you get hit with one of those fines, you just sell off a Falcon, no problem. You can easily afford it. But that's a good one. And again, we'll put the link to that because there's other data in there. I don't want to just sit here and read it, but the education system in Saudi Arabia is really transforming. So very fascinating stuff. Yellow number 6, putting a cap on the 100th episode, the 966. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Yes, excuse me. A video published by the UAE-based The National and was sort of widely available on social media, but that's where at least I discovered it, shows Mecca's clock tower, one of the tallest buildings in the world, being dramatically struck by a bolt of lightning amid heavy rains that caused localized flooding. The video, which is played in slow motion, at least several of the versions that I saw, shows a wide and bright lightning bolt hitting the top of the clock tower. It is unbelievable. And there are photos of it online as well that you can see. It's sort of like one of those shocking images where you're like, wow. Rains and thunderstorms have pounded the Mecca region in Saudi Arabia in recent days. Some of the videos coming out of the region of the flooding are pretty wild. So stay safe out there, everybody.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, that was pretty spectacular. You have to think it gets hit all the time because it's gargantuan. Like
Yeah, so I was wondering that as well. Like, is this I guess it doesn't rain like and have thunderstorms that often, but I mean, I would definitely not want to be on the top of that building during any
no, but I
thunderstorm.
wouldn't mind being down on the ground around it,
Yeah,
because
because you're
lightning's,
safe. Yeah,
it's funny. Lightning is quite scary, but I don't respect it enough. I do stupid things when lightning's going on. And
yeah,
this is some of my dad got hit by lightning, and I should know better, but I'm as stupid as the next guy.
yeah. Like when they play the sound to get off a golf course, I'm like, oh, that
Yeah.
means there's going to be nobody in front of me when I try to play.
I
So
told my dad got hit by lightning, and it was very scary. He didn't die, although he did have some mobility issues afterwards. But he was, so the call went out. Dad's been hit by lightning. All the kids. This was up in Maryland, so we were all driving up there to see him at the hospital, and we discover later that he gets hit walking off the green. So he's walking off the green, and his putter was grounded. Lightning hit maybe 60 yards away, traveled along the ground, came up through his putty, and blasted him
whoa,
backwards. All right, but and this is what I guess it's hereditary, the stupidity. The lightning alarm went off on the tee box. So that thinking, you and I would probably both do it. Oh, I'll just finish this hole.
yeah. Finish
And
this hole
so
and then we'll go in.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then come in. And so so there you go. You'd think I'd know better.
I wonder what the chances are greater of getting struck by lightning or getting a hole in one because I feel like I'm due for a lightning strike
No, no,
now.
no.
But I didn't know
No,
that your
no.
dad was actually struck and injured by lightning. That's wild.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Unbelievable. So what sort of injuries did he suffer? Like, I mean, you said that he
He got
was,
thrown back, and he hit his head on the little curbs along the path, cart paths.
yeah.
And actually, he wasn't breathing, and he was with the foursome, some friends who knew what to do with CPR, brought him back. And actually, when his friend touched him, he got burned. So my dad was so charged, and he had some burns all up and down his torso and everything, that when his friend touched him to give him CPR, he got burned.
What?
It's crazy stuff.
That is crazy. And how old were you when this went down?
Oh, I don't know. He died at 83. He was probably 70,
Oh my
68.
goodness. That's crazy.
70. Yeah, I think he was 70. Something I
Wow.
have to clarify, but he was probably that.
Okay, I guess I'll listen to that siren when it goes off on the golf course now because that is terrifying. And if you think about it, you do have a metal lightning rod on your hand, so
Well, it's
it's
true. I mean,
horrifying. Yeah,
everywhere you go, and you have your hole in one, so you've beaten the odds. Maybe you shouldn't tempt lightning.
yeah, maybe that's it. Hang it up, take up falconry.
No, keep playing. Just come off when the alarm goes off.